really needed the material, but that clip will definitely go on his unofficial MVP candidacy reel. He leads the league in scoring, made threes, third in assists for the best team in the league right now, and I think there's almost universal agreement within the NBA community that James Harden is the prohibitive favorite to win his first MVP award. So we're not going to ask you about him. Okay, fair enough?
We'll skip that.
We've talked about him. He's good. These are the numbers to prove it. We want to know how you would rank the other contenders behind Harden.
Are we going to put the graphic up, or am
we'll
I
put the
supposed
graphic
to go
up,
through
of course.
it? I mean,
yes.
let's put that up. I'll go through it.
Rick's calling for the graphic.
Hey,
I can't remember. I don't have a memory well enough to remember.
Let the director direct, okay?
I understand. I'll just sit here and do what I'm told. So obviously LeBron number 2 for me. What he does, I think, and Brent and I were talking about this just now, I really feel like Michael Jordan was the MVP every year that he played in the league. Clearly the best player in the league. I think LeBron is that, and I think he's been that for this generation. So I keep him there. Anthony Davis, what he's done in the absence of DeMarcus Cousins in particular, he's really done it all year long. But since DeMarcus has been out, it's just put that team on his back in a way that's just incredible. I mean, it's statistically achieving things that haven't been done since Wilt Chamberlain. Anytime you can consistently do that, you should get quite a bit of MVP note. Kevin Durant, who I think in addition to being the best big shot maker on that team, is also their most important defensive piece because he's the best rim protector they play, particularly late in playoff games. What he's able to do on that end of the floor really sets him apart from most. And again, not a year where he's even necessarily been called on all the time to carry the team, but when he's needed to, he can. Damian Lillard, just sensational the last really month of the season. Again, putting a team on his back, a team that is overachieving probably in terms of where they are in the seedings. Really, they've gone so far now during the time that Dame has been virtually unguardable at the end of the game that they're now almost out of harm's way in that fray that we talk about all the time, 3 through 10. They're almost out of harm's way now, and it's a seeding that you can feel pretty good about, and it's because Dame has been so dominant. And then DeMar DeRozan, give him credit for the fact that they've completely reworked the way they play, and DeMar was the player that was the highest usage player that was going to be impacted the most by a change in style. Not only did he adapt to that well, but his playmaking element picked up. The higher his usage, the more efficient he's been, and I think that's a very rare quality in a player that's on a team that's expected to win every night.
Yeah, everybody that Griff mentioned has had tremendous seasons. We just have a little bit of difference in the order, but the one guy we didn't talk about was Giannis, and I think there just has to be recognition, Matt, just because he's leading his team in points, rebounds, and blocks and assists. The only things that he's not leading in his steals. That belongs to Eric Bledsoe this year. So maybe Giannis will push him out of the way and get more steals in the last 14 games or so. But the idea about Giannis's play, given that most teams are doing everything they can to slow down how it is that he's supposed to impact a game, and for him to still lead statistically in all of those categories. We know Milwaukee as a team has some flaws. We know they're still trying to figure out some things offensively, but still the type of season that he's having and the weight that he carries for the Milwaukee Bucks, I think he deserves some consideration. And then I threw Steph in there because you look at his numbers. He's a shade off of 50% from the field, possibly another 50, 40, 90 season. No, he's dealt with the injuries this year, just playing 50 games this year, but the numbers are remarkably similar to an MVP type season. So to not have him in that kind of consideration, I think would be remiss of us to do that. So instead of Durant, I just felt like Steph might be that guy.
I think the fact that you had Steph and you had Durant in your top 5 beyond Harden speaks to the fact that neither one of them will ever win this award again as long as they're together in Golden State. And that's okay. If they wind up with a bunch of championships, I think they would make that trade.